Hello students, welcome yet again to another video lecture. My name is Ashwin Joglekar and I am from Resonance PCCP division. Today I am here with the topic Federalism. Now Federalism is the second chapter of your democratic politics of class 10th and one of the very important chapters. So let us begin with our journey about understanding Federalism. First of all, the introduction has been provided here that what is federalism. Again, federalism in the most simplest of sense is the vertical division of power, that is among different levels of government. As you can see in the introduction, the vertical division of power among different levels of government is one of the major forms of power sharing in modern democracies. It is most commonly regarded as federalism, as you studied in your previous chapter, that is in forms of power sharing. In this chapter, we are going to understand the theory and practice of federalism in context to India. Now, the first topic again, federalism. It is a system of government in which the power is divided between a central unit and the various constituent units of the country. That is, between the central government and probably the governments for the state or the provincial governments or maybe regional governments. Usually, a federation has two levels of government, or it can have two or more than two levels of government. If it is a single level of government, then it will be unitary form of government. One, the government for the entire country, that is usually responsible for a few subjects which are of national importance, and the other are governments at the level of provinces or states that look after much of the day-to-day administration of their state. Both these levels of government enjoy their powers which are independent of each other or the other, and these powers are again mentioned in your constitution. Now, just the contrasting thing or just the opposite system is your unitary system, that is either there is only one level of government, or even if there are other levels of government, they are wholly controlled by the central authority or the government. That is, there is only one level of government, or the subunits are subordinate to the central government. That means the central government can anytime take the powers or grant them powers according to their own wish. The central government can pass on orders to the provincial or the local governments, but in a federal system, central government cannot do that. The central government cannot order the state government to do something. It can only advise the state governments to do a certain thing. State governments has power of its own for which it is not answerable to the central government. Both these governments are separately answerable to the people. Now, these are some of the federal political systems in the world. You can see a major chunk, that is China, which is not considered as a federal political system. Many of the countries in Africa, okay, some of the countries in South America are not among the federal political or do not follow the federal political systems. Okay. Now, next important topic, which is again important in terms of your board preparation, that is many a times question has come or has been asked in your CBSE exams about mention some of the key features of federalism. So, first feature is from the definition itself, that is there are two or more levels of government. Second will be different tiers of government. The levels of government govern the same citizen, that is they are governing the same set of citizens, but each tier has its own jurisdiction in matters of legislation, taxation and other things, and administration. That is, each level of government or each tier of government is governing the same citizen, but their powers have been separated in terms of legislation, taxation or administration. The jurisdiction of the respective levels or tiers of government are specified from the constitution, or they are mentioned in the constitution. Fourth point, the fundamental provisions of the constitution cannot be unilaterally changed. That is, if the central government wishes to change any powers, it cannot do so unilaterally, changed by one level of government. Courts have the power to interpret the constitution and the powers of different levels of government. Sources of revenue for each government or each level or tier of government are clearly again specified in the constitution, thus ensuring their financial autonomy. Seventh, the federal system has two dual objectives. The first one is to safeguard and promote unity of the country, while at the same time accommodating regional diversity. that you have to promote unity of the country, safeguard, as well as you have to accommodate the various regional diversities which are there in the country. So, these are the key features of federalism. Now, how do federalism or federal governments have come about? So, there is a historical perspective that two kinds of routes or pathways through which federations have been evolved or formed. First is coming together and second is holding together. Now, in terms of coming together, the first route involves independent states coming together on their own, sacrificing a part or a bit of their independence or sovereignty for a larger goal. That is coming on their own to form a bigger unit, so that by pooling their sovereignty and retaining identity, they can increase their security. This type of coming together federations includes the USA, the Switzerland and Australia. All the constituent units in this coming together federations generally have equal or usually have equal power and are strong vis-a-vis the central or the federal government. Second example or second route through which federations have come about is holding together federation. The second route, where a large country is or decides to divide its power among the constituent or the subunits, that is between the constituent states and the national government. India, Spain and Belgium are examples of this kind of holding together federations. Now, in a holding together federation, there might be certain privileges which can be given to certain states, that is central government tends to be more powerful vis-a-vis the states, and very often different constituent units of the federation have unequal power. Some units are granted some special powers. So, here you can see the differences between the two independent states coming together. A large country decides to divide its power between the constituent units and the national government. Examples are given: USA, Switzerland, Australia, India, Spain and Belgium. And the next point, that is all constituent states have equal power and are strong vis-a-vis the center or the federal government. The central government here tends to be more powerful. Now, next point is India, a federal country, or how did India emerge or is a federal country, why we refer to it as so. Not completely federal, but yes, we refer to the federalism that is in structure, practiced in terms of structure. Now, India, a federal country, that is the constitution declared India as a union of states. Although it did not use the word federalism, but still Indian Union is based on the principles of federalism. That is, even in some books, that is probably in your higher classes, quasi-federal word has been used for India. That is, quasi-federal means semi-federal, or you can say that it has more tilt towards unitary form of government and with features of federalism. But you do not have to do that for here, because that word is again in your higher classes probably. So, constitution usually originally provided for a two-tier system of government, the union government or the central government, representing the Union of India and the state government. So, there were only two levels of government earlier. Later on, as we know, during 1992 with 73rd and 74th Amendment Acts, Panchayati Raj system and municipalities were also added. Later, a third tier of federalism was added in the form of panchayats and municipalities. Then, a federation is a political arrangement in which activities of the government are divided between the central government and various state governments, such as each level of government has certain powers under its jurisdiction. The features of a federal government are, what are the features here of a federal government? First is division of powers. So, clearly the constitution has divided the powers between central and state government, so that there would be no possibility of a conflict or a clash. The most important feature of federation is the division of powers between the central government and the various state governments. The subjects of national importance are placed under central government's authority, and of state, that is day-to-day importance, are regional and state importance are placed under state government's authority. That is again division of powers into three lists, that is your union list, your state list and your concurrent list. So, union list, all the things are the subjects which are mentioned in union list are decided by the central government. The subjects which are in the state list are decided by the state government, and concurrent subjects are both decided by the center as well as the state. But if there is a conflict between the laws passed by the center and the state, the law passed by the center shall prevail. And apart from that, there is a list of residuary subjects probably which were made or which have evolved after the constitution was being framed. Second point is written and rigid constitution. The second feature that is of federal government is that it has written, rigid and a supreme constitution. Constitution again is an agreement and is lays down the basic structure of the government under which the people are to be governed. It is rigid constitution in the sense that it cannot be changed as per anyone's wish. Okay, that is no changes can be made in it unless both the national and the state governments approve of the changes. The constitution is supreme, which means that central and state legislatures exercise their powers all which they derive from the constitution or as specified by the constitution. Independent judiciary, again India has an independent judiciary. The Supreme Court of India has all original powers and has the exclusive authority of settling disputes between center and states, between various states also, that is between the government of India and one or more states or between two or more states. Now in detail, if you see again the thing about division of power, that is constitution, that is the constitution clearly provided a threefold distribution of legislative powers between the center and the state governments. Union list, in which the subjects are mentioned like defense of the country, foreign affairs, banking, communication and currency. State list, agriculture, irrigation, police, trade, commerce are the subjects which are of state or regional importance and are thus in the state list. And third is your concurrent list, which includes subjects of common importance like education, forest, trade, unions, marriage, adoption and succession. The point to remember here is that both a union as well as the state governments can make laws on the subjects mentioned in the concurrent list, but if there is a conflict with each other, the law made by the central government shall prevail. Then there is a list of residuary subjects like probably IT or computer software, which came up much later after the constitution was framed. Now, there are also some units of the Indian Union, as we remember that Indian Federation is more of holding together federation. So, therefore, some of the units of Indian Union which enjoy very little power. These are areas which are too small to become an independent state, and again they are not also could not be, because of their exclusive identity, cannot just be merged with any other state. So, these are union territories with any of the existing states. These areas like Chandigarh, Lakshadweep or the capital city of Delhi are called UTs or union territories. These territories do not have the powers of a state, but the central government is responsible or has special powers in running these areas. Now, some states enjoy a special status. States such as Assam, Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram enjoy some special powers under certain provisions of the Constitution of India, that is Article 371, due to their peculiar social and historical circumstances. These special powers are especially enjoyed in relation to the protection of land rights, so that people do not exploit them further, of indigenous people, their culture and also preferential employment in government services. Now, even Indians who are not permanent residents of the state or of that particular states cannot buy land or house there. Similar special provisions exist for some other states as well. Now, changes to the power sharing arrangement. Again, power sharing arrangement, the changes which have to be introduced or which are brought about cannot be done by the parliament alone. That is, the parliament cannot on its own change the power sharing arrangement. Any change to it has to be first passed by both the houses of the parliament and with at least 2/3 of the majority. Then it has to be ratified by the legislatures of the state assemblies of at least half of the total states. Now, the judiciary here also plays an important role in overseeing the implementation of constitutional provisions and procedures. In any case or any case of disputes, the division of powers, the High Court and the Supreme Courts, they can make a decisions or take decisions. Now, next point is how is federalism practiced. Now, this we will take up in our next lecture on federalism. Thank you so much.